Previously, on All That Glitters.
His cuffs, where they're rolled at his wrists, look at the buttons. See, they're tucked in, the one that doesn't belong?
It could have popped off the real killer if there was a struggle.
Blaine, there is not a single victim of suicide with a gun with their eyes open here.
I agree. It's rather odd.
It should have been more than rather odd 3 years ago. If you won't reopen this case to investigate it properly, I'm just gonna do it myself. I need to talk to your cousin.
Jenny,
I need to talk to her.
Can I help you?
Hi, we're here to see Mr. and Mrs. Buchanan.
Daisy left me. She left after she found out I killed her man across the bay.
I had never heard a man laugh about a murder confession before. I mean, I suppose I had never heard a murder confession before at all, but this was certainly a surprising experience. Nick and I traded glances in Tom Buchanan's hallway with a small shrug. Could it be this simple? Maybe we ought to sit down.
Maybe we ought to.
I also think this is a good time to let you know that I am recording this conversation for documentation.
Documentation for what?
Well, we were trying to solve Jay Gatsby's murder, but...
What's there to solve?
I mean, you just said the police, they thought George Wilson was the one who pulled the trigger, but clearly you were...
George Wilson was the one that pulled the trigger. What are you on about, girl?
Please don't call me that.
Oh, Nick, you've got yourself one of those modern women, I see.
Sounds like more than what you've got, Tom.
Some spunk in you? And what are you doing with a man like that?
A man like what, exactly?
Stop it, please. Tom, what do you mean George is the one who pulled the trigger?
Exactly what I said, I meant.
But you just said you killed Gatsby.
I didn't mean it literally. I didn't know Sherlock Holmes over here was hunting for confessions.
Well, what did you mean you killed him then if you didn't actually kill him?
George came over here in the afternoon. He asked whose car I had been driving. I drove it on the way into the city so he knew I'd know, and I pointed him in the right direction. Honestly, it serves him right, driving off the way he did. But when Daisy found out, she was hysterical. Absolutely off her rocker, screaming at me that I'm as good as a murderer. And then the next morning, she was gone.
But you knew it wasn't Gatsby driving.
It was Gatsby's car. Who else would be driving?
You don't know?
Don't know what? Spit it out. What's the matter with you?
Tom, Gatsby wasn't driving. Daisy was. Daisy is the one that killed Myrtle.
Nonsense. I watched him get in the driver's seat. You did too. You watched him. We all watched him get in the driver's seat. Daisy she was over him at that point. I knew she was coming home with me for good. She was in the passenger seat.
They switched, Tom. Daisy was on nerves, so before they even got out of the city, she started driving. She thought it would calm her to drive. When Myrtle ran out, well, she must have thought it was you. Gatsby said she almost swerved into oncoming traffic, but at the last second spun the wheel back and...
That man was a criminal and a professional liar. Daisy wasn't driving.
Did you ask her what happened?
What's that?
Did you ask her? Did you ask Daisy what happened that night?
Well, I said, aren't you glad you're not throwing your life away for a murdering thief? And she said, oh my God. She said, oh my God. She said, I didn't mean it. It just happened so fast.
You thought she meant the affair?
Of course I thought she meant... She didn't. She wasn't driving.
We sat in silence for a long time after that. Every few minutes, Tom would start to say something, or Nick would start to say something, but neither one of them could pull a full thought together. If that day was all I knew about Tom Buchanan, I might have felt sorry for him. Eventually, the silence grew too painful for any of us, and Nick and I excused ourselves, promising to let Tom know if we heard from Daisy, just to let him know she's all right. No mention of their daughter, which honestly was a stark reminder of the man I had expected. We got in the car, and silence consumed both of us again, each of us processing the encounter in our own way. The way our day had been a roller coaster of hope and then disappointment before noon didn't bode well for the rest of it. The sky was growing darker with each passing moment, threatening heavy rain, so we made our way back to the city, leaving our visit to West Egg for another, brighter day. When we got back, Nick told me he needed some time to process what we had learned and that he was going to call around to his family to see if he could get a hold of Daisy.
I can't believe she really left him. I had decided they were better off together, destroying lives together.
Careless people deserve careless people?
Yeah.
That was a good line.
I don't know how I didn't hear about it. You'd think word would get back to us. It had to be quite the scandal.
They must have done everything to keep it hushed, avoid the scandal.
You're probably right.
From the way you talked about the wedding, the way you wrote about it, I mean, they seemed like the types to gloss it all over, wait for Tom to die, and then call her a widow.
Or, what if... No.
No, what if what, Nick?
I was just thinking, if they do anything to keep a scandal quiet...
That if Daisy was having an affair and was threatening to run away with a criminal, how far would they go to put a stop to it?
I can't imagine.
Well, I can now!
No, get it out of your mind. It's insane. They married her off and then abandoned her with Tom. It's just not probable.
Not probable, but possible. They know a lot of people.
Let's table that for now and try to at least track Daisy down to talk to her. If we start running away with every wild theory, we'll never catch up to ourselves.
We're already 3 years behind this case. We have a lot of catching up to do.
I'll make some calls tonight.
Nick called his mom first to check in and let her know he was back in the city. He casually mentioned the trip we were on and got her to suggest that we visit some family members while we're here. He mentioned the idea of dropping in on Tom and Daisy.
I haven't seen them in a few years, though, since I moved back. Do you know if they're still in the same place? I see. I'm afraid to stop in on strangers, though. Do you have a number for the Fays? Maybe I could call them to check in and see if their address is the same. That's great. Thank you so much, Mom. Yeah, she's doing well. Yes, of course, we have separate rooms.
After another 10 minutes on the phone with his mom, we quickly dialed the number that she had given him to reach Daisy's parents. He fed them the same story, that he had just gotten off the phone with his mom and she suggested calling them to check in before driving all the way out to East Egg on a whim.
Hello, and Clara? Yeah, it has been a long time. Yes, I won't let it go for that long again. I was just calling because I was hoping to talk to Daisy. Oh, I see. How long has she been down there? I'm so glad you've gotten to have that time with her. And with Pammy, yes. Oh, that's wonderful. Ahead for her age, huh? Of course she would be. No, that's great. Will she... Yes, of course. But will they be staying down there with you for long? I'd love to come visit. It's been quite some time. I see. Maybe I will. That would be nice. Thank you for the invitation. Yes, of course. No, I will. Yes, I will bring a girl around this time. I'll leave soon and give you a ring when I'm in town. Yes, I know it's a quick trip if I try hard enough. No excuses. Of course. I'll see you soon. They didn't say how long she's been there. I'm sure it's been since she left Tom, but they wouldn't want to make that clear. From what she said, it sounds like Daisy is just visiting with Pammy for a few months.
Well, at least we know where she is if we want to talk to her.
They did invite me down, as long as I bring a nice young lady with me.
Do you think I'm nice enough for them?
They'd have to be nice themselves in order to judge.
Well, either way, I'd like to come with you.
I wouldn't go without you.
When do we leave?
Is tomorrow too soon?
Never, for you. I'll pack my bags.
We checked out of our hotel early the next morning, wanting to catch the first train out to the Midwest. We'd make our way to Ohio and then catch the Pan Am down to Kentucky. It was going to be a long journey, but we had a lot to think about along the way. As we rode, I organized all of the information that I had gotten to that point. I wrote and rewrote notes, evidence, conversations with Detective Amory, and moments that stood out to me from each of the interview recordings. I made a game plan to talk to Daisy, too, wanting to have a list of questions to ask her before we got there. Nick warned me about how disarming she was, how easy it was to forget everything you wanted to say the moment she opened her mouth. I had an inkling that her charm wouldn't work quite as well on me than it may have on the men around her, but I didn't want to be too confident. Just in case. After I had gotten all my notes in order and couldn't find anything else to occupy or distract my mind, I watched Nick while Nick watched the rest of the world. Details about people that never would have caught my attention, he was deeply in tune with. There was a couple across the row from us on the train that seemed completely normal to me, unremarkable, but Nick was taking down notes, writing observations in his journal, so I peeked over his shoulder.
Woman expecting, boyfriend doesn't know.
I grabbed his pencil and wrote, "How?" with 3 question marks next to the note.
Her hand on her stomach looks queasy. Every bump, she puts her hands up towards her mouth and looks towards the restroom. Her skirt is unbuttoned, 2 down at the top on the side, and she keeps pulling her shirt down over it to cover. No rings.
I noted back that he was amazing and maybe a little bit psychotic. I wondered what it must be like to notice those things in every single person you came across. I had thought myself observant, but I realized I only analyzed the profiles that passed my desk, and even then I never considered the people behind their actions. I dug deep into their movements, their words, the pieces of evidence they left behind them, but all the while forgot that they were people. People with families and lives and kids and pets and parents, not just criminals or liars with nothing else to fill their days or hearts. I started to really look at the people around me in our train car, and what I saw was an overwhelming sadness. A woman sneaking glances at a photograph every time the man traveling with her would get up to pace the aisles of the car. A child, in a black suit, looking back and forth between the adults he was with, uncertain and uncomfortable. A father, alone, with a baby, panicked at every cry or cough. I felt it in myself as well. There was something desolate in this part of the journey, the in-between place where you've left your starting point but aren't close enough to your destination to get excited. I could feel the whole car holding their breaths, afraid to let them out too early and be disappointed in what came in with the next one. We were supposed to be living lavishly, throwing parties and getting drunk off bootleg liquor, dancing to jazz and kissing too many people. But that world existed so separately from this train car. I thought about my life, my job, the home that I visited too rarely, and the friends who I barely considered. What were they up to? If Nick hadn't come to me with this mystery, I never would have even known about his life in West Egg. Of course, I had known he moved to New York. It was all anyone could talk about when he left. But it never occurred to me to reach out and see what he was doing, see how he was doing. If I had, maybe I could have been there for him sooner, helped him sooner. Some point before the border, I fell asleep and didn't wake up until we were pulling into the station in Kentucky. The gentle rocking of the train and the roar of the wheels on the track had lulled me into the deepest sleep I had had since Nick's face popped up over my fence over a week before. I didn't realize how desperately I needed good sleep with too much noise to drown out the thoughts and theories rattling around in my brain. Nick sorted out our car while I was trying to wake myself up. As the midday sun hit its peak, we pulled up to what looked like an actual castle. The rounded towers were tall and pointed at the top, with massive windows circling every floor. The whole exterior was built from ivory stone carved in delicate patterns. At the top of a dozen steps at the front was a pair of 8-foot-tall arches that framed the door and porch. Above those was a balcony that could have sat 20 people, backed by glass-paned double doors. It seemed to stretch back out into eternity on a lush green lawn, perfectly manicured. It reeked of wealth in such a drastically different way than either of the New York mansions we had seen. I was thinking, maybe I should let you lead the conversation until I can maybe get some time alone with her, if I can get some time alone with her.
Sure.
Hey, you good?
Yeah, sorry. I just don't really know what I was thinking. I don't know what to say.
Start with hello, and we'll go from there.
Welcome to the Fay home. May I inquire who's called?
Nick Carraway and Miss Jennifer Jones.
Yes, the lady has been expecting you. Come in.
Thanks.
Nikki, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you ma'am me, Nikki.
Hi, Aunt Clara.
And who is this? You said you'd bring a girl. I didn't expect a beauty.
I feel like I should be offended at that.
Oh, Nikki, you know what I mean.
Jennifer Jones. It's nice to meet you, Mrs. Fay. Thank you for inviting us here.
Anything for family, right? That's what I'm always telling William and the girls. Anything for family.
Anything?
Well, you two must be absolutely exhausted from that trip. Come on in and have a drink and a seat on the sofa.
She said you'd been waiting. We just left New York 3 days ago. Got here as fast as we could.
Well, you know me. I just can't help myself when you kids are coming into town. When Daisy said she was coming, we were over the moon excited. Didn't even have to wait 8 days for her to get here. But the trains were faster then. Fewer stops, you know. Nowadays, it seems people simply have to be dropped off right at their front door, no matter how much slower it makes the trip for everyone else. Selfish, if you ask me. The whole world's gone selfish.
They added the new stops on the Pan Am last year. I covered it for the Tribune.
What's that?
Jennifer writes for the Tribune in St. Paul.
Oh, how wonderfully modern. Is that how you two met?
We've actually known each other almost our whole lives. We grew up next door to each other.
What a beautiful romance, so bless your hearts. My William and I grew up in the same town too, you know. Our parents, best friends. And well, we didn't have quite the love story you two must. I can see it in your eyes. You're absolutely infatuated with each other.
We are very close.
Oh, I love this, and your mother must be over the moon. No more waiting for grandbabies.
Speaking of grandchildren, I hear I must meet little Pammy. Nick tells me she's reading and everything.
Oh, she will be, certainly. She's around here somewhere. Pammy? I'm sure she's around here somewhere.
And Daisy?
Hello, Nick.
Daisy.
I hadn't even seen her when we walked into the living room. The room we had walked in was covered in darkness. The deep brown wood of the floors had melted into the brown leather of the sofa, and the forest green and gold wallpaper was peeking through gaps of the rich velvet curtains which were drawn. Everything in the room was shadows, including Daisy, who was lounging on the couch in a black dress. Maybe she was still mourning, 3 years later, for the life she took and the life she lost. Even in her desolation, she was stunning. Her golden brown hair fell in cascades around her shoulders, far out of the style of the time, but somehow ahead of its time entirely. Her features were subtly enhanced with makeup, an effort to pull herself together without calling attention, and when she spoke, her lips stayed parted, breathing us all in.
I can barely move. I'm so delighted you're here.
It's been some time.
Yes, it has. Oh, Nick! Oh, look at the state of me. I'm so sorry, Nick. I'm just so overcome with joy to see you. If you'll excuse me, I think I hear someone calling for me.
I'm sorry about that, Nick. She's been inconsolable since. Well, that must be why you're here, isn't it?
Since she left Tom, you mean?
Oh, you do know, thank the Lord. Come here, sit by me. You too, Jennifer. May I call you Jennifer?
Of course.
Rosalind, bring some tea, would you? And maybe a round of cocktails.
Yes, ma'am.
It's just been awful, but when you called, I thought you might know something. I've never known you to be shy about paying a call, Nikki. You wouldn't have rung here if you didn't know something was wrong.
I didn't. Well, we had just seen Tom and...
Shh, we try to avoid bringing him up, even a word that sounds like and that happens.
Sorry. Well, we had been by the house and he said she had left, but I didn't want to upset you if she wasn't here. Truth is, I didn't know where she was.
Well, I'm glad you thought to call and check in. We must do anything for family. I'm always saying to William and the girls, you know, anything for family. Yes, that's right, dear. Well, as you know then, Daisy came quite a while ago, called me up one night and asked if we could have her bed made up. I said for you and she said for me and Pammy. Well, I've never heard her sound so firm in her life. The girl flits from decision to decision like her life is made of paper. But I knew something was wrong from the way she sounded so decided. So I didn't ask any questions, just made up a bed and a room for Pammy and her nurse, and she arrived the next day. It took a few days to get anything out of her, and even then she just said, I've decided I would not like to be married anymore. Just like that, like it's a thing a girl can just decide. Well, I've never had such a shock in my life. William almost went into cardiac arrest right there at the dinner table. I said, my darling Daisy, that's just not the way the world of ours works. You make a choice and you have to follow through with it. And do you know what she said to me?
What did she say?
She said to me, I didn't make this choice, Mother. You made it for me. Can you believe of all the things to say? Well, dinner ended early that night, and it was a full week before she even spoke to anyone again. Just shut herself up in her room, crying at all hours of the day.
And she's been like that the whole time?
Some days are better than others, but she mostly sits and stares at the wall, barely engages with anyone or anything. I know there was some nastiness in New York, Nikki, when you were out there. We got a call about 2 weeks before the end of the summer from... said Daisy was acting strange, that she'd just become a completely different person and he didn't know what to do about it. Well, we said we'd check in on her. William even went all the way up to New York, but by the time he got there, said to never mind, he had it under control. Truth is, I don't know what happened that summer. Daisy won't talk about it, and William says he doesn't know a thing, but now that you're here, Nikki, maybe you can help me fix it. How can I convince Daisy not to throw her life in the garbage, wasting away all alone? We've managed to keep things quiet for this long, but people will start asking questions sooner or later. The fact that your mother hasn't yet, Nikki, well, it's a miracle. Thank you, Rosalind.
I'm not sure I'm the one to tell you. It's not really my place.
Nikki, please.
I'm going out. Be kind to him when you tell it, Nick.
Daisy, darling, where are you going?
I'll be back by dinner. I just need a cigarette to calm myself down. Or a drive. Perhaps both.
You say it was her choice to marry Tom.
Well, yes, it was. She accepted his proposal.
She only did it because you expected a certain type of man for her.
Of course, we expected her to marry someone of status. We didn't want her to live a desolate life.
She was in love with someone else.
Nonsense. She was mad about Tom. That wedding was the most exciting event Louisville has ever seen.
Do you know where she was the night before?
The night before the wedding, we threw a party, and I've never seen her so excited, glowing with happiness.
Well, one of her bridesmaids was with her right before she went down to that party, and she was sobbing. Said that she had changed her mind and didn't want to go through with the wedding.
I would have known if that had happened.
It was just Daisy and her bridesmaid, Jordan Baker.
I remember Jordan. She's not very honest, is she?
Well, I mean...
She spent plenty of summers here, running around with William and the boys, shooting squirrels and making up stories. She must have been making all of that up for attention.
I guess your maid was there too, though. Someone else to help Daisy get cleaned up and down to the party.
Rosalind? She never told me that. She would have told me that. Rosalind! Rosalind! Could you come in here, please? We'll see about this.
Yes, ma'am.
Rosalind, come here. Sit down. I need to ask you something about Daisy's wedding, specifically the night before.
Oh.
Did something happen? That face. Yes, something happened. What was it?
I'm sorry, ma'am. She begged me not to tell you.
Will you tell me now?
I suppose now it wouldn't hurt, would it?
No, Rosalind, I think right now it would help a lot.
She was just so upset. Miss Baker came running and dragged me into Daisy's washroom in a panic. And Daisy was there and... Well, excuse me, ma'am, but she was drunk out of her mind.
Daisy?
Yes, ma'am. She was crying her eyes out, almost sick with sobbing. I ran her a cold bath and helped her into it while it was still running, hoping the cold might shock her. But the tub must have been mostly tears by the time it filled up. She was clutching a paper, neatest handwriting I'd ever seen. I thought it must have been a lady who had written her, but she kept muttering that she couldn't bear to tell him. She held that letter in her hand so hard that her palm turned black with ink. The whole thing had disintegrated before she let us take it away to scrub her clean.
Did you find out who the letter was from?
Yes, ma'am. A Mr. Gatsby. J. Gatsby.
Gatsby. I've heard that name. Do we know him? Was he from Louisville?
He was one of Daisy's first suitors, one she was crazy about, but he went to war, and in the time he was away, she got herself engaged to Tom.
Oh, those soldiers were nothing. Nothing but harmless flirtation. But I do know that name. Why do I know that name?
He made pretty big news a few summers ago when he was murdered.
Murdered? Gatsby. Oh, the millionaire who was shot in his swimming pool?
Yes.
I remember being so frightened when that all happened. Imagine some madman just coming into your house and shooting you when you're so vulnerable in your pool with no defense. When William got home that weekend, I made sure he hired 2 more men to watch the house, just in case. It could happen to anyone. And Daisy knew him?
Daisy loved him.
Well, why didn't she marry him?
You would never have approved.
I think we would have approved of a millionaire, Nikki.
He wasn't a millionaire when they met. He was poor and a soldier. He went off to the war to try to make some money, and by the time he got back, Daisy was married. He got his money after that.
I see. Oh, he was the soldier. Oh.
She said she didn't care if she never saw another pearl in her life. Mr. Buchanan had gotten her a string of pearls and she had thrown them in the bin. She said she'd rather be poor than unhappy, but Miss Baker kept saying we just needed to calm her down and she'd be all right. We gave her something to pep her up, and after a while she did calm down. By the time I zipped her up into her dress, she smiled like nothing had happened at all. But I know that girl's smile. I've watched her smile since the time she barely reached my waist, and it has always stretched right up to her eyes. She always had the easiest smile. But that night her smile changed, and it never reached her eyes again. Hasn't again since.
That smile came back for a moment that summer.
What summer?
The summer I was in New York, the summer Jay Gatsby died.
You can't be implying.
I'm not implying, Aunt Clara. I'm telling you that Daisy loved Jay Gatsby and was ready to leave Tom for him. And then he ended up dead. Maybe that was enough for Daisy to finally step up and do the right thing for herself for the first time in her life.
All That Glitters is written, produced, and edited by me, Steph Crugnola, inspired by The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This episode features Pablo Muñoz-Evers as Nick, Brian Hensley as Tom, Giulia Garbani as Rosalind, Kaprecia Pridgen as Clara, and Savannah Martinez as Daisy. Music by Josh Kavanaugh.